Hello, welcome back to day 2 of the 13 days of Yule-O-Ween. I hope that you enjoyed day 1. I literally just got done filming it and now I'm starting day 2. Yeah, today's going to be a little bit more of a lazy, slow Saturday. It is the first Saturday after I'm done with school for the semester. I start my new job on Monday in the library doing cataloging at school, and I'm very, very excited. I've always loved working in libraries. I've never had a library job that I didn't like, and I think this one's going to be no different, and hopefully I will be there for a while, knock on wood. But we're going to start a new vlog. When I last left you, I was in the middle of reading Lovelight Farms, and I still am, so I'm going to be continuing that. I want to bake some of those Pillsbury snowman cookies, so we're going to do that. I might have a hot toddy. It is very cold today, so that might warm me up a little bit, and it's a way to celebrate being off of school. I did already play some Town to City today, but I am making myself ration because I did not ration with the new Power Wash Simulator game, Power Wash Simulator 2, and I regret it because I am now done with school and I have nothing to power wash, which is probably not a tragedy for anyone else, but for me, I really enjoy that game. We're gonna learn how to ration our games better. But I'm gonna continue Lovelight Farms. I think it's cute. I'm gonna try reading it with my eyeballs. I've mostly been listening to it on Libby, so I'll let you know how that continues to go, if I like it any better or worse, or if maybe I'm just not as connected because it is an audiobook. I don't usually do audiobooks very often unless I'm like on a time crunch or I need to drive very far, or, you know, the other reasons you would listen to an audiobook if you're not a usual audiobook listener. Because I have ADHD pretty badly, and I get distracted. So I don't remember a lot of things. If you are new here, I am also chronically ill, which I started a new medication. I have something called HPP, which is hypophosphatasia. It's like a genetic condition that you probably don't care about, but it does mean, and needle warning, I'm not going to show any needles, but I have to give myself injections 6 days a week to replace an enzyme that I don't have so that my bones don't break easily, and so that I don't have as much joint pain and fatigue. And it feels like it's working really well. I've only been on this medication for like a week and a half because unfortunately this disease is very underdiagnosed in adults. If you don't have like a very, very severe form of it, it's kind of like, especially in femme people, you know, there's always like the brushing off of pain, or like if you're overweight like I am, you know, saying everything is related to your weight. But I found out I have a genetic condition. So finally got that approved by the insurance, and we're finally starting that. It's been about a week, and so I have to do that medication, which is not going to be fun, but I'm going to placate myself with cookies and maybe a hot toddy later. So let's go read some more Lovelight Farms and do some fun like Yuletide things. Hello, good afternoon. I kind of dropped the ball and it is now 1:30, but I thought it would be fun to give you a little bit of an update with my reading, and also we're gonna do like a mini book unhaul. These are just books that I wanted to free up space on my shelves. They're either books that I have read and didn't like, or that I don't think I'm ever gonna read, or I'll give you the reasons for them when I go through them, but I wanted to give you a quick update on Lovelight Farms first, since I am over halfway through. I have been reading it. The storyline is cute. It's very Hallmark Christmas movie-esque, and I think it's intended to be that way, but it is a little bit too much of that for me. It feels like it's trying to be Gilmore Girls a little bit. I'm not sure if it does it well, and I don't know for sure if I like that in a book. Like, it's trying to be something else. Like, it's almost like a fan fiction of like a series or something. I'm not sure how I feel about that. It may just be like it's a small town and like everyone knows each other and everyone's in everyone's business, and that just happens to also be the premise for Gilmore Girls. But I do kind of like I kind of do like the main characters. I care about them a lot less than I did the main characters in... I do care about them a little bit less than I did the characters in First Time Caller. And I think Lovelight Farms might be BK Borson's like first work. I'm not sure. I should probably do my research better. I do think that the amount of disconnect that I had before was because I was listening to it on audio. I think that I connect with the characters more once I started reading it more physically, which I did for like the last 40% of the book so far. I've been reading it on my Kobo. So I'm going to continue it. I'm obviously going to finish it today. That might be the only book I finish in this vlog. I'm probably going to start my next vlog, and it's not going to be specifically just reading. I'm not sure what I'm going to do for my next one, but like I said, I wanted to intersperse some other fun things in my vlogs. But other than that, let's just go ahead and get into my mini unhaul. First things first, I do not regret getting rid of this one at all. I kind of wish I didn't buy it in the first place, and I wish I would have just tried to get it from my library, although I don't think they had it available on ebook. The Mist by Stephen King was incredibly disappointing. The man does not know how to write women or fat people, and the main character in this does something very, very questionable, like very early in. It's about this guy, and he's got a wife and a son, and the mist comes, and he's separated from his wife. He and his son are stuck in this grocery store, and he has to figure out how to survive and deal with like these terrifying creatures or whatever is happening in this mist. They're not 100% sure, and I think like the fear of the unknown is supposed to be what makes you scared in this book. I didn't feel scared at all. I think this was originally a novella that was like a shortish story that was a part of it, like an anthology that he did. I was not a fan, mostly because it felt very cliche. Maybe it was just because it was written in 1980, but I know there were books before then that kind of had a similar premise where it's like fear of the unknown. The ending was weird. I didn't like the ending, and I think the main character is insufferable, and I didn't like anything about him. So I am all these books are going to thrift books, and I'm gonna get a little bit of a pittance for them. They don't like to give much money, but it's better than donating it to Goodwill, who then like profits off of it without really actually giving back to a community. The next one is Fingersmith by Sarah Waters. Now, I've had this on my bookshelf for at least like a year and a half at this point. I came across it from a booktuber, I think it was Books and Lala, and I thought that I was gonna read this and enjoy it, but like looking at the synopsis, it has to do with like an orphan and a mansion and 1862 London, and I just, right now, that's not something I really care about. And if I haven't read it in over a year and it's been sitting on my bookshelf, I'm not going to. So that's gonna go. This was a mistake in the first place. A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. And I just feel like this is probably, I've heard from so many people it's just like trauma porn, and I'm not about that life. So also I feel like I'm pretty sure that the author does not have any sort of disability or any queer identity and is writing these characters in like queer identities and queer trauma, and I don't love that, like queer and disabled trauma. So I don't know. I haven't researched 100% to make sure like it's not an Owned Voices book, but either way, I don't think my mental health would be able to handle that book anyway, so I'm just not going to read it. Next I have The Radium Girls, which the only reason that I'm getting rid of this is because I feel like I could easily get this from the library, and I've also, I think, watched like the historical documentary series on it, and I don't feel like I really need to own it. It sounds really interesting as far as the book itself goes, but I do know most of the story, and it's just been sitting on my bookshelf for a while, and if I'm being super honest with myself, I don't know when I'm gonna get to this. So maybe somebody else will like it better. And then this one, I hate to say, When the Reckoning Comes, this was just okay for me. I didn't love it enough to keep it on my bookshelf. This is a story about Mira, who, so her best friend Celine, she's white, and this girl is black, and there's a lot of racism in their town. They live in the South, and she comes back, and she's coming back for Celine's wedding, and there might be some like haunting going on. There might be some revenge from ghosts, which I love. I think that's great. The story pacing felt weird, and I felt like I wanted more out of it. I don't think I'd ever reread this, so I'm gonna let somebody else enjoy it. Unfortunately, I will not be keeping this. I do love the cover, and I think the premise is great and really important. It just wasn't my favorite, unfortunately. And then I keep going back and forth about this one. This is L'Adore by Mary Shelley. This is like a lesser known work of hers that is supposed to, it explores like relationships between three women, and is supposedly talks about, people think it's just like a romance book, a popular romance genre from the Regency era. I think it's called Silver Fork. There's subversive critiques about domesticity and masculinity, which I appreciate, but once again, if this is a Mary Shelley book, I love the cover. I think this is beautiful, but I also think if I'm ever gonna read it, I'm probably just gonna get it from the library. This one, the only reason I'm getting rid of it is because I have 2 other copies of the Encyclopedia of Fairies. I've got the UK version, which is much prettier. Hardback. It's like 10 times cuter. I think I also have the UK paperback because I wanted to end up getting all 3 of them in paperback or all 3 of them in hardback, and they didn't have them, so I ended up just getting all 3 in hardback when I had already had 2 of the paperbacks. So I've got 3 of Emily Wilde, so I don't need 3. And then That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon, this one was just okay at the time. I read this like right after the election, so it got me through with some stupid like smutty demon romance, but I don't think the writing was that great. The storyline was weird, and then I ended up reading her next book. It's another book. It's a completely different series. It's like I'm Trapped in an Alien Rom-Com, which was completely horrible, and I'm pretty sure I gave it a 1 because it was that bad. And I'm just like turned off of Kimberly Lemming, and I don't think I'm ever gonna read anything else by her. And though this is a very gorgeous cover, I just don't think that I need to have this on my shelves. So it's going. This is another one that I wasn't sure if I was gonna keep or not, but I don't even really remember this story, which kind of shows you just how much I didn't really care about this. I thought that Mexican Gothic was good, and I think I gave it a 4 at the time. But I've also read other Fall of the House of Usher retellings, and I think they've been done better. I think just like the pacing, I know it's a Gothic horror. I did not get scared at all. And also the pacing was like, even for a Gothic horror, was just way too slow for me. So somebody else will be able to enjoy this. The next few are doozies. You Are Fatally Invited by Andy Plago. This is a locked room murder mystery set on an island. It's kind of like And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. I think it's basically just a retelling of that. And I could not get more than 2 chapters into it because the writing was so bad, and it was just like I did not care whatsoever about any of the characters. Like, it was bad, and I couldn't keep anybody straight. Like, they didn't flesh, like, the author did not flesh the characters out enough for me to even remember who was who and like whose personality was what. And I just didn't, I couldn't do it. And I had a very similar situation with Moth Eater by Linda Codega. This, I really thought this was going to be right up my alley. It's a queer fantasy that's set in Appalachia, and it has to do with like magic and this woman finding another woman in the woods and trying to figure out where she came from, and like this whole plot unravels in this town, which I love the idea of this. But I also have, so Andrew Joseph White has Compound Fracture, which is also an Appalachian queer like horror book, and I think I'm probably gonna like that more. I read Hell Followed With Us and really liked it. Even though it's YA, I think that Andrew Joseph White does really well, and I do want to read his newest book that's an adult debut. I'm really excited about that one, and I don't think I need 2 of them, and I got that in Aardvark, and I just was like, well, that was a waste. This next one I had for years, as you can tell, because it is a hardback, and it was $26. So I think I got this in like 2017, something like that. Klein, he was the one who wrote, I believe he wrote Ready Player One, and this is just gross science fiction, and I think I read this. I don't remember literally anything about this book, and I don't need it clogging up my shelves, so I'm getting rid of it. We only have 3 more. Bear with me. I have The Summer I Ate the Rich, which is one that I was also really disappointed about. It might just be that this is YA. It might just be that I don't dig the author's writing. Brielle, she is basically a zombie, but she is like a Haitian, like original, like where zombies came from, like the lore of zombies that was co-opted by white people. It came from Haitian zombie legends, and I think this is a play on that. However, I was just so bored about halfway through. Unfortunately, I tried reading this during Summerween, and I just could not get through it. And it might just be that it's not my age bracket. I don't know, but I'm never gonna read it. I got literally probably, I think, like halfway through, and I just couldn't do it. So 2 more. I have Ice Planet Barbarians, which I don't need the physical version of this book. I don't need it to grace my shelves and have people look at it and realize that I've had this on my shelves. I actually kind of enjoyed this book. It's so stupid and so like ridiculous and silly, but it's very easy to find ebook copies of this, so I'm not gonna keep it. We'll let somebody else have it. And then last but not least, I have Still Beating by Jennifer Hartman. And this is one where I'm pretty sure it was like a TikTok viral book. And it's about Cora, and she ends up getting abducted, I think, with her sister's boyfriend from a birthday party and forced to do like these weird sexual acts with each other. They hated each other before, but now they're like trauma bonded, and it's their love story. But this is another one that I feel like is just probably trauma porn, and I also did try to start reading this. It's so stilted, the way that it's written. Like, I don't feel like there's a full paragraph in the entire book. I skimmed through it after like I got through the first 2 chapters, and I'm just like, I can't do this. Like, I can't do books that are stilted like that. I can't do books like, I feel like I would like Sally Rooney's books possibly, but I just cannot do a book where there's no quotation marks for dialogue. It drives me nuts. They're there for a reason. It's not just like you can be aesthetic and fun. What? Like, I read Severance by Ling Ma and I really liked it, but I had to listen to the audiobook because I started out with the physical book, and it also didn't have any punctuation, well, I think it had punctuation, but it didn't have any quotation marks. And I'm like, why is this a trend? Why are we doing this? It drives me nuts. Maybe I'll do like one of my vlogs. It's just gonna be my bookish pet peeves, and I'm just gonna be like obnoxious and talk about all the things that I didn't like in books. But it just drove me nuts, you know? Like, I can't do it. That's not what this does. This one is just really stilted. So that's what I have for that. Like I said, I'm kind of enjoying Lovelight Farms. Stella and Luca are fun. They're not my favorite couple. The storyline seems a little bit ridiculous, but there is like cute animals and stuff in it, so I'm probably gonna enjoy the book for what it is as I continue it, and I'll probably catch up with you guys once I have gotten through it, and then we're gonna start. See, I'm not sure how I'm doing because I've been uploading these a little. My first one I uploaded, I think, at like 4 p.m. and I think most people like vlog throughout the day and then upload at night, but I also don't want to upload it too late. I want people to like be able to watch it like when they get off of work or whatever, which doesn't matter for Sunday, but tomorrow, you know, although I'm gonna be much MIA a lot of tomorrow, so I'll try to do what I can. We'll see. I'll catch up with you guys probably once I've finished Lovelight Farms and let you know how it went. It just keeps snowing. We have a full-on snowstorm, so perfect time to read. All right, guys, so I did end up finishing Lovelight Farms literally just like 10 minutes ago, and my feelings on it are still pretty much the same as they were. It's cute. It was kind of really cheesy at times, and the love interest kept calling Stella Lala, which is fine as a nickname, but he did it like every 2 seconds. I don't think he ever used her name like at all, and I don't know, I just the epilogue felt unnecessary. The book was fun. I would still recommend it if you want like a fun holiday book, but I also still weirdly don't feel like it felt that Christmassy for being a Christmas tree farm book, and some plot points felt really convenient, especially with like the contest. It was just weird. I don't know. I feel like there were parts that weren't fleshed out and other parts that were too like harped upon. I don't know, but I am still glad that I read it. Give it like a 3.5, and I would still suggest it. BK Borson's first book, so she's gotten like 4 or 5 other ones under her belt at this point, so I am still excited to read Good Spirits, which I will do at some point during Yule-O-Ween, so stay tuned for that. But for now, that's all I have for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you tomorrow with the next video. I am really enjoying doing this, and I hope that you like it too. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye!